5 years later, Connor gets out of prison. Garrett offers to help him as he owes him, but Connor declines and demands not to see his face again. Pavani is a 14-year-old girl with power. Her brother Tarek is proud to learn that she got an A in her test, but also learns that she needs to buy books. He promises to get her the money. Garrett runs the psych drug trade from Monument Hill Towers apartment complex. The main ingredient in psych is spinal fluid extracted from individuals with powers. It turns out Tarek is a PWP and works as a runner for Garrett. He's ready to move up as he could do more than just run bags. He also mentions having a sister whom he needs to support financially, but Garrett refuses. The LCPD plans to reduce the number of deployed guardians in favor of new non-lethal robotic canines. The dogs are designed to withstand anything. Sergeant Kingston is the youngest candidate running for union president. He explains how the dogs are the right tools given to good officers to succeed at their jobs. He assures people that the dogs are only built to detain, never to harm. It turns out Garrett made a deal with Kingston, who gets a cut in exchange for letting him operate the drug business freely. Tarek, who is annoyed with Garrett's dismissal, follows his men to the drop site where they leave Kingston's bribery. Once they leave, he takes the money for himself. But shortly after, Kingston and his goons show up and see that the bag is gone. They spot Tarek and send a canine after him. The dog catches up with him and kills him by injecting him with a lethal dose of the drug psych. His little sister sees everything. Kingston watches the live feed from the canine. The dog attempts to attack Pavani as well, but then the screen freezes. Connor starts working as a janitor at the community center. His mom's friend Mina offers him food to eat. Kingston learns that Pavani is a PWP as well, since his dog Piper got completely wrecked, something that even an electrician can't do to a dog built like that. He tasks his men with finding her. Connor finds the little girl hiding inside the tool shed at the community center. She tells Mina about her ordeal the other night. Just then, the police show up, so Mina urges Connor to get the girl out of there. As they leave, the cameras capture them together. Kingston meets with Garrett regarding Pavani. The sergeant is worried the girl will talk, as that would compromise everything he's achieved so far. Connor takes Pavani to his apartment, and they watch the news regarding her late brother. He realizes that she has an unusual power to manipulate electronic devices. She also manages to hear the radios of police who are converging to their location. As they attempt to flee, they're cornered by two guardians. Connor uses his powers and manages to fend them off. Connor turns to Garrett and takes him up on the favor he owed. He needs him to provide Pavani with a new ID, cash, and a safe place to stay. But Garrett has other plans. He explains that Pavani is a transducer who managed to shut down that dog. He wants the little girl to come work for him. He promises to give her everything that she needs, as long as he erases the memory of her brother, as she needs to forget what happened last night. Garrett gets a PWP called Tamara to erase her latest memory, but when they start going for all of her memories with her brother, by saying that memories have roots and if even one lingers, the others can grow back in time, Connor refuses to let them take everything. He attempts to awake Pavani, but then he uses his powers and fights Garrett and his goons. Then they flee to Mina's place. They all drive away, but Garrett's men ambush them and hold them at gunpoint. Kingston realizes that Garrett won't kill Connor, so he sends the Guardians after all of them. Garrett, who is wounded, witnesses his two people getting shot. Mina sacrifices herself to allow Garrett, Connor, and Pavani to flee together. Connor learns that Kingston is corrupt, as he's got the DEA, chief of police, all back in his run at the Union. He climbs the ladder fast and picked up a lot of favors on the way. In order to stop him from being an asset, they must show everyone what he did. Pavani knows that the dogs record what happens. Kingston keeps his personal unit at his house, so Connor and Garrett head to the cop's home and keep him busy while Pavani breaks into the garage. She manages to steal the canine's head, which they take to Garrett's headquarters at the towers. While talking to Kingston, Garrett realizes that the cop also has powers and has been hiding them. Garrett betrays Connor and decides to take the dog. He believes that he can control King, and they can run this place the way they want to run it. Garrett brings the dog outside to Kingston and tells him that he got all the data. He wants to make a new deal that involves cutting his share in half. Otherwise, he threatens to expose his secrets. But King declines the offer and stabs Garrett. Then he leaves him cuffed outside the building. Connor and Pav take the head from Garrett's men and fight their way out of the building. However, they get cornered with a canine dog who injects psych into Connor. Pav uses her powers on the dog and manages to take control of it. She uses it to fight another canine. Connor carries Pav, who got shot outside. Policemen hold them at gunpoint, but Garrett intervenes and stops them. Pav spots a journalist and uses her powers to transmit the contents from the canine head to the public. Kingston attempts to shoot Pav, but Garrett once again uses his powers against him, and the corrupt cop eventually gets arrested for his crimes. 3 months later, Connor resumes working as a janitor, and Pav goes to see him and hugs him. The Attorney General is conducting a thorough investigation into the canine program and said she believes the corruption runs even deeper. In an effort to help those impacted by this crime, City Council is expected to pass a bill which will release millions of dollars into the Monument Hill community and restrict the use of police robotics in the neighborhood. However, critics of the bill point to recent reports of an increase of psych flowing into Lincoln City from an unknown source. Garrett is shown smiling at the news as he sits in front of the TV inside the prison.